And it's Montreal with the ball as they push it wide. Mauro Biello attempting to push it up the right side, but can't quite get it through. Keeper Peter Zeriton.
It'll be interesting to see how Montreal responds to their first match. They played the Lynx in their first home opener here and were completely dominated, so we'll see what happens in this game.
That's right, it was a 1-0 win for Toronto. Francisco dos Santos scoring that goal in the 26th minute.
1-0 win, Scott, but Toronto completely dominated that game.
Absolutely. Mauro Biello making the move back and pushing it back.
Players probably getting a feel for the ball right now. It looks a little wet out there. It's been raining all day, so it's going to slip a little, just like that.
Into touch. This A-League 2000 broadcast is brought to you commercial-free by Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide.
You know, these two teams are known to have hard feelings for each other, so we'll have to see if this match pans out. The first one didn't, but it looks like this one's a little tougher than the first one already.
There's Nikolai Vinovich with a nice little move and a back heel that did not work. And he pushes out wide. Montreal trying to force the issue. Theo Zagar with an attempt at a clearance, but not quite, and Adrian Saru pushes it up the left-hand side.
You know, Scott, Kojic at the back, he's just so composed. He doesn't ever panic back there. He knows what he's doing, and he keeps the whole team organized. He does such a good job as a sweeper.
It'll be a fantastic matchup between him and Darren Tilley tonight. Both of them very hard players.
And both very good in the air.
Absolutely. Biello, Canadian international, with the free kick here. He'll take most of the free kicks. Of course, Nick DeSantis helping out in this one. Brian Ashton with his head on it. And Saru takes it down, but can't control it. Here's Biello.
You know, this Montreal squad has so many big names on the team.
Tough tackle by Mauro Biello on Adrian Saru. That's right, Montreal do have a core of players that are actually been playing with each other for several years, including Biello and Nick DeSantis, of course, and several others. So it should be so far anyway, it's been tough for them to get back since they were last year. They were out of the league.
And it's a little cold out there today, so, you know, they have to move around a lot. It's wet, it's cold. Players don't like standing still in weather like this. I know I hated standing still. You got to move as much as possible, get behind the ball. The field's going to be wet, the ball's going to spin fast, so you have to make sure your body's behind it all the time.
Montreal with the throw-in. Patrice Leduc with the throw-in. Darren Tilley pushing it up. But there's our friend Marco Retta.
You know, it's funny, Marco perhaps doesn't look like he's the fastest player out there, but he's deceiving.
He's always in the right position at the right time, isn't he, Helen?
He's always in the right position. He positions his body well so that the opposing player doesn't have a chance of getting the ball, and he's very composed at the back.
There's another example, Mauro Biello losing his footing there. It is going to be fun to watch, very interesting, especially for the keepers. Vinovich to Lyndon Hooper. Of course, Lyndon Hooper did play for the Montreal Impact for 2 years. Now, of course, with the Lynx, 66 caps, Helen.
Unbelievable. You know, he's not you don't really notice him out there, but he does so many amazing things with the ball. If you just sit there and watch him, he plays simple soccer, but he knows exactly what he's doing and exactly where he's putting it.
Toronto pushes it right in, but it was a good defensive move by Montreal as they push it into touch.
Teams look like they're just getting a feel for each other right now.
20-year-old Adrian Saru, one of the youngsters on the Toronto Lynx.
Ooh.
Mauricio Vincella with an interesting back pass, and there's Theo Zagar way out of his goal.
You know, Zagar's had a really good season so far this year, Scott. We've watched all their home games, and he just looks so sharp back there. Oh, those conditions are just going to be tough. It's going to be a difficult game for the players, that's for sure.
There's a first look at Valerio Gonzalo, the new head coach of the Montreal Impact. Of course, as you know, he was with the Impact from 94 to 97.
It'll be interesting if that change will make a difference in the team. Like we said, they have a good squad, so it's interesting that they aren't performing as well as I would expect them to. But They did take a year off. I don't know if that's affecting them. They're getting used to each other again. Might just take them a few more games to, to pick it up a notch.
Well, as we said earlier, this is a team that has a core of great players, and of course they won the A-League championship in '94 and the regular season championship in '95, '96, and '97. So they're an excellent team. There's the strong midfielder player, John Limniatis, putting it to DeSantis and then pushing it wide. The cross is in there, but effectively pushed out. Now they try the left-hand side. There's Darren Tilley's second touch of the game. Darren Tilley's 6'3", so once he's in the box, it's going to be very interesting to see, because he's very good at heading the ball, Helen.
Oh, Darren Tilley is great in the air, and they really have to take advantage of that.
And there's a look at our officials. The referee today, Steve DiPiero. Milan Kocic pushes it wide to Marco Reda. Reda keeps it on the ground as he usually does.
One thing that I think has impressed me over the season so far, Scott, is they play such a disciplined game. They keep the ball on the ground, they play simple soccer, and people that have come out to watch them have been amazed at how nice they play. They can't believe that this is the Lynx, because they're playing fabulous soccer. At the game against Regina, all the fans couldn't believe the amazing skill, the ability of the Lynx players. And you know what? It's not just that game. It's every game. They're a great team.
Zager pushes it left to Adrian Saru, who pushes it back down to Kojic. That was an unfortunate pass there. And there's Peter Pinizzato, rather. He's been the coach and general manager ever since Toronto has been in this league for the last 4 years. He's done an excellent job in the off-season acquiring those South Americans that you talked to off the top of the broadcast, Helen.
Yeah, I actually had a chat with Peter last week, and he's really happy with the team's performance so far. He thinks that they're finally at the level that they expected to be at, and they're going there. They've won 5 straight and going for 6.
And of course, we're counting down to 0 at this half, as well as the second half. And here is one of the first touches for Nikolai Vinovich. Boy, he can strike the ball. Not a great example there, Helen, but he is a dead ball specialist.
Oh, he can strike a ball from anywhere, and in any position. He can turn his body and strike a ball. He definitely one of the best strikers of the ball in this league.
Absolutely. Here's a replay of it. Doesn't get quite the accuracy, but boy, when he really gets a hold of it, he can score some brilliant goals.
Yeah, it didn't look like the ball really hit his foot in the right spot. Probably the conditions of the ground. It's probably moving a little bit in an awkward position. He's not used to it yet.
And of course, his older brother, Nebojša Vinovich, on the sidelines, not starting today for the first time.
Yeah, that's an interesting move. Obviously, Syria's been playing very well, so he's giving him a chance.
That's a look at Darko Kolic, forward from the Montreal Impact. And of course, all the free kicks by our friend, Mr. Vinovich. Well cleared out.
Oh, Brian Ashton, if you look at the quads on that guy, he has so much power in his legs, and you can see it right there. He can strike a ball, and wow, I wouldn't want to be behind that. I wouldn't want to be a keeper behind that.
Absolutely. He is the fan favorite. He's also the ball-winning midfielder that every team needs, and he also has some skill, Helen.
Oh, he does, and I think him and Lyndon Hooper play so well together. Brian Ashton's the hard worker. He goes in there, he digs the ball out, and Lyndon's just the little simple playmaker, and they complement each other so well, and I've noticed it in every game so far. They do such a good job together.
And there's a quick look at Peter Zaritan from Glen Cove, New York, rather. He was brought into the squad to replace Paulo Ceccarelli, who's had some injury problems lately.
It's interesting to watch Montreal. They're really hanging back. They're not pressuring the Lynx defense at all. They're giving them space. Looks like they're retreating into their own end and then creating an attack.
Well, there's a giveaway on Adrian Saru.
Oh.
Nice try by the 20-year-old from Toronto.
Bad pass by the Montreal Impact player there. Gave it right to Saru.
Let's take a look again. That was Patrice Leduc with a bad back pass, and then boom, here comes Adrien Saru. Not a bad strike, but he had his, looked like his head was not over the ball properly, so as a result, it went up and over the bar.
Probably could have taken a little bit more space on that one. He had the space in front of him. He didn't have a great angle to take a shot. Might have been better just taking a few more steps and getting a cross in.
Here's Vinovich with the free kick. Didn't do well. John Lemniadis, the captain of the Montreal Impact. There's another bad ball by Montreal.
Definitely not playing too sharp today. But as I said, it looks like the conditions aren't helping at all.
Brian Ashton winning that to Lyndon Hooper, pushes it to Nikolai Vinovich, pushing it wide.
What a great ball. Oh, just too far. That cross should have been a little bit closer to their player.
The Brazilian Dos Santos couldn't get his foot on the ball, and Montreal take over. Milan Kojic to Adrien Saru. Nice little spin move by Brian Ashton.
Great turn by Brian Ashton.
Pushing it to the back to Marco Retta.
And that's what I like to see. The Lynx is doing a lot of that. They're taking the ball, going from one end, switching it to the other, and if it doesn't work, they take it again and switch it to the other side. Very well-disciplined team.
Arango with a nice little push and move there. He wins the free kick. Arango, of course, from Colombia.
Let's see if Vinovich can do something with this free kick. Oh.
Didn't have quite the height that he expected or wanted, but Montreal just clear it out, and it's Vinovich again with the throw-in.
You know, those are opportunities that you really have to take advantage of. You can't afford free kicks like that to be lost. Those are great scoring opportunities, and Vinovich should really make the most of it.
And of course, there is Valerio Gonzalo, head coach now of the Montreal Impact. Of course, he was the head coach in 1994 when they won the A-League, as I mentioned earlier. Very successful as a technical director as well, and he's back now behind the bench. Peter Zeritin, who had played with the Impact previously, and now is back with them. An excellent keeper in his own right. Nice chest ball by Mauro Biello. Not quite controlled by Darren Tilley.
And there's a bad ball. Bad giveaway.
Mauricio Vincello with a giveaway.
We're seeing that a lot in this game so far today. And there's Dos Santos, the little flare that I like, the Brazilian flare.
And here we go with Arango.
And here's an opportunity.
Vinovich to Dos Santos.
Oh.
Can't quite get on his first touch, and Zeritin scoops it up.
You know, he's such a Brazilian player. He's got the little moves. He's got that little Brazilian flair, and it really works up there. He works well with Arango, compliments him well up front, and just supplies the ball or finishes it off.
And here's Mauro Biello. And it's up and out by Darren Tilley.
And Darren Tilley on the end of that, just like we said, he's going to be there in the air.
All right, let's go now to Ray Williams, checking out the cleats.
Well, Scott, because it rained for a couple of hours this afternoon, most of the players have gone to a boot that has these plastic cleats. They're longer, that gives them better traction, prevents slipping, and also prevents those groin injuries. Scott?
Thanks, Ray. Let's get back to the action here.
Okay.
Definitely have to wear 6 studs in this kind of weather, Scott, but I don't know how much it helps. It's been raining so much today that even 6 studs probably won't help as much as you'd want it.
And of course, the temperature change in 24 hours in Toronto has been incredible.
Unbelievable.
It was about 90 degrees yesterday, and now it's just almost fall weather right now, late fall weather, it seems.
For the players, this is probably okay, though. They'd rather be playing in this than in 30-degree heat, I would imagine.
Lyndon Hooper pushing it wide and then making them run.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That's what I like about Lyndon, just the nice little passes.
Of course, Lyndon, the older brother of Charmaine Hooper, one of the world's greatest women's soccer player.
Very athletic family, I'd have to say, Scott. Very talented family.
There you see Patrice Bernier. Hard tackling Bernier. And that'll go out for a Toronto Lynx corner, and of course, it's Vinovich with the corner kick. He really curls the ball nicely into the box. He'll be looking for DeSantis' head.
And from that side, you really want to curl the ball away from the goal so that your players can run onto it. And that's exactly what he's going to do. And that's a better ball. Oh!
Saru can't quite control, but he does have a crack. Oh, and a beautiful heading try.
What
I believe that's
great
Lloyd Barker.
attempt.
Former Jamaican international, Lloyd Barker.
Those are so hard to get on the end of. It was a shot, and he got his head on the end of it.
Here's another look. Zaritan can't quite get it. Saru can't quite control, but it lands beautifully. And then he crushes it. And then look at, oh, Lloyd Barker just missing with that nod-on header. That was a beautiful try, and look at the look on his face. He can't believe it didn't go in.
Beautiful try, but really, the keeper should have had that. He mistimed it completely.
Montreal pushing it up. Biello with a nice back heel to Darren Tilley.
Nice touch there.
And then it's pushed out wide. And a nice defensive play there.
Great defending there. He covered up. He knew Linden was running, trying to pick up the man, but he moved in and got it. It was a great defensive play.
This A-League 2000 broadcast is brought to you by Umbro. Only soccer since 1924. This A-League 2000 broadcast is also brought to you commercial-free by Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide. Limniadis playing in the back now. He's a strong defender, midfielder.
Oh. Caught behind him. He didn't see the player coming.
And then Milan Kojic soaks it up. It was a nice defensive play after an error by Lyndon Hooper. Almost sent Mauro Biello away.
Hooper not looking over his shoulder there. Didn't think there was a player behind him, but he really should have checked to make sure. But Kojic doing a really good job of picking up after that. Brian Ashton gets the call there, but I'd say that was questionable. Looked like he had the ball cut up in his feet.
Fincello puts it inside, and it was a nice little defensive move there. And corner kick for Toronto. If you want some more information on both these teams, check out their website on the web, both Montreal and Toronto. And check out the A-League, www.unitedsoccerleagues.com. Corner kick for Toronto. Throws it in there. Good defensive play there.
That was a good corner. Should have had somebody on the end of that one.
Hooper pushing it wide, but I don't think anyone's going to catch up to that one, and it's Montreal with a throw-in.
Looks like they're completely misplaying some of these balls, and I'm assuming it's because of the grounds again.
And as you see, Lyndon Hooper played for Hampton Roads, scoring 2 goals last year.
Peter's really happy to have Lyndon Hooper in the lineup.
So much composure in the midfield for that
So much
gentleman.
composure, you know, and with Brian Ashton, the hard worker in there, they do so well together. And you don't notice, like I said, you don't notice Lyndon as much out there. He's not flashy, but he gets the job done.
Montreal with possession. Limniadis with a nice little move, playing the sweeper position today.
A lot of slipping out there.
Lloyd Barker taking advantage.
And with some speed, too.
Barker doing a nice job here.
Losing possession.
But loses possession to Montreal. And there's Darren Tilley. The 6'3" Englishman pushes it wide to the right.
Nice little touch. Created the space, got there. It was a great little
Abraham
ball.
Francis with the ball now. Showing some good control here, but that Shot just wide. There's a look at Patrice Bernier. 9 fouls in 4 games this season. He's a tough tackling midfielder. Zagar with the goal kick. Kojic throwing it up to the front, but
it's very uncharacteristic of Kojic to play those long balls in. He usually likes to play the small balls, likes to play them to the side, little simple balls, but from there it's really hard to play a ball into a striker and expect him to get it without a lot of pressure on him, especially a long high ball like that.
Mauricio Vincello pushing it way too far ahead for Adrian Saru. Now let's check out what's happening down the sidelines with Ray Williams.
Well, Scott, the new Montreal coach, Valerie Gazzola, is not really all that unfamiliar with the players. He was a technical consultant for the club, so he knows the players. What he's trying to do right now, since they haven't had that many practices to harmonize the team, he's trying to build team harmony using the game as the stage. Scott?
Thanks very much, Ray. We get back into the action. There's a foul and a free kick for Montreal. DeSantis starting it quickly and pushing it to the middle. There's a look at Vincello, the Argentinian, only 21 years old. He can play defender and he plays on the left side, or he can play midfield, but he's played all the games in the back.
You know, they have a really strong defense with Marco Retta, Vincello, and Kojic. What a combination. Really hard to penetrate that defense.
Here's Darren Tilley. Pushing it back to Bernier. And a good clearance. But Limniadis, the man who controls a lot of the midfield, and he's also playing in the back. So he does a lot of work for the Montreal Impact, doing a lot of heavy tackling, does a lot of distribution of the ball. A perfect captain to have. And there's Vinovich, and he keeps it on the ground, but unfortunately,
Vinovich looking like he's getting a little frustrated out there, but looks like he's complaining to his players, but he's got to make the balls and he's got to make sure they get to his players.
Marco Retta with a header. And Ashton, you're going to see that a lot with Ashton. He challenges almost everything, and of course his foot was up there, and Nick DeSantis is down, and he looks like he's in a little bit of pain. Looks like he took a cleat in the bottom part of his shin.
You're right, Scott. Brian Ashton is definitely one of the tougher players out there. He goes in for every tackle, and I'll tell you, I would not want to go against him in a tackle.
Let's take a look at it again. Marco Retta with the attempted clearance. Boom, right there. Cleat right on the right leg. And it's a free kick. And Mauro Biello takes most of the free kicks for Montreal, and he does this time, but the wall does its job.
Probably should have tried to lift that one over the wall, especially from not far out. Curve it around the wall. That's what you want to try and do from that position.
DeSantis with a good defensive play, and he tried to punch it out to his forward, Arango. Unfortunately, Montreal right there, steady on the defense. Lyndon Hooper with a foul on Mauro Biello. Biello had a nice turn there, but got clipped a bit, so they got the free kick. As mentioned before, these two players have played against each other for 2 years, so they know each other quite well. That's Montreal with a free kick.
You know, it's always fun playing against the same player. You want to beat them even more every time.
Zagar can't quite get a hold of it. Patrice Bernier with a beautiful, what a fantastic defensive play. Lyndon Hooper off the line. It was Patrice Bernier with a almost certain goal, but of course Lyndon Hooper there off the line. What a great play, Helen.
Smallest guy on the field, and he gets right there and he gets it out of the line.
There's
right
the free
on the
kick.
line.
And here's the fumble by Zagar. He can't quite get a hold of it. very slippery, and Bernier with a nice little touch, but look who's there.
Oh, what a great play by Lyndon Hooper. The little dynamo. Looked like that just slipped right through Zager's hands.
Getting set for the corner for Montreal. Not a very good corner at all, and it's Toronto Lynx with the goal kick.
No, and we're seeing a lot of long balls that don't look quite as good as I would expect them to look, and I'm assuming it's probably due to the field conditions. But you know, you have to adapt to these things.
Saru giving up the ball here. There's Bernier with a cross, and Retta's there, but look at Darren Tilley. Should have had a better finish than that, and Zager just was very lucky, actually.
You know, Zager really shouldn't have come out for that ball. He had his players there. There was no need for him to come out that far, and he really put his team in some danger.
Hooper pushing it back to Marco Retta, who pushes it again to Zagar, who clears it. But not very effectively, right to the Montreal Impact player. And there's Vinovich. A little bit of a push. Now let's see what's happening down on the sidelines. Here's Ray Williams. Take it, Ray.
Well, Scott, a while ago you saw the animation of Montreal coach Gazzola. Now take a look at Coach Peter Pinizzaro for the Lynx. He is just standing very calm, very quiet, very confident. That's the body language of a man whose team is undefeated. 5 wins and 1 draw. Scott?
Thank you, Ray. And of course, when the Toronto Lynx started in the A-League 4 years ago, they had 10 games undefeated, so they know exactly what it feels like to be successful, at least at the start of the season.
And Scott, we've known Peter for a long time, and he's always composed. He never gets nervous, and that's exactly what I always see him like. I think that's why the players respect him so much. That's a great ball in. Driven hard. Keeper can't come out for those balls because they're coming too fast. That's a great, great corner kick.
And here we have a race. And Lyndon Hooper is losing that race. Oh, and a beautiful save by Theo Zagar. What a fantastic save off Darko Kolic. And that is the reason why he is the starting keeper over Jim Larkin. Jim Larkin has been the starting keeper for 2 years. Theo Zagar comes in, wins the job, and that's a reason why they are 5-0-1. What a fantastic save.
That was a definite goal. I don't know where he came from or how he got that one. That was just an unbelievable save by Zagar.
Montreal starting to put some pressure on. Darren Tilley. And there's a close-up shot of Theo, but here's even a better close-up shot. Kolic with the automatic goal. No, there's Zagar with the save. Well positioned.
What a great save.
I think Kolic thought for sure that he was going to get a goal on that one.
And he probably should have. But Zagar comes up with the unbelievable save.
Pushing it wide, Montreal Impact. There's Darren Tilley, the blonde. He had the right idea there to Patrice Bernier, but he couldn't quite pick it up, and Zagar is there.
Tilley looking very comfortable on the ball. You know, and it's nice to see a striker that's also a playmaker. And you can see that in him. He gets the ball, he looks around, and gives it to the player in the best position.
Montreal settling down a lot since the first 10 minutes of the game, however.
Looks like both teams are settling. Toronto probably not playing as good as I've seen them play the last few games. Looking a little bit more rushed on the ball, not as composed, playing more long balls than I've seen them in the past, but I don't know if it's, I can't blame the field now because that's just a style of play.
And DeSantis being called for the foul there. He doesn't like it too much, but it is Montreal free kick. Let's take another look. And that's definitely a foul on DeSantis, not shoulder to shoulder. Obstruction on his part, and it's Montreal's ball.
Quite an even game so far, Scott. I'm impressed. Montreal looks like they have improved since the first game, definitely.
midfield. Who will win it? Well, so far it's Montreal. Nice move. Mauro Biello pushing it through.
And that's a nice ball. Good defending.
Darko Kolic can't quite make it, and he's looking for a corner kick, but it has been called a goal kick. There's a look at Mauricio Incello. Lynx throw in. Marco Retta will take care of that. Montreal pushing it up the left-hand side. Darren Tilley.
Oh, bad timing by the Lynx defender there.
And there's Retta with the ball. Nice defensive play there as they push it up the right-hand side. Lynx not looking very steady in their passing anyway in the last 15 minutes or so, allowing Montreal to get back into the game. Abraham Francis pushing it to the right. And there's Biello. He's got speed. He's the playmaker. There's DeSantis looking for Darren Tilley. Who else? The 6'3" Englishman. Nice block there, and this is where the speed and power for DeSantis.
DeSantis was looking for his other striker, but just couldn't slot it through.
There's John Limniadis, the captain of the Montreal Impact, with a nice ball over to Darren Tilley. Darren Tilley not playing up front as much as I thought he would. And a beautiful play. What a fantastic play by Darko Kolic to put it in the middle. And Mauro Biello can't quite put it through.
So far, Montreal having the better chances of the two teams.
Let's take another look at that. Kolic, first of all, it's Darren Tilley with the cross. Darko Kolic with a beautiful one-time, and oh, it's just Biello just holding his head. He can't believe he didn't put that in. But
Oh,
it was like,
that's a given. You have to put those ones in.
Brian Ashton trying to chase it down, but can't. Montreal throw in. There's the cross in, but not a good one.
Yeah, it looks like they have Darren Tilley playing a little bit further back, more of a supporting role, which I actually think is suiting him right now. He looks to be very comfortable on the ball, and like I said earlier, he's a great playmaker, and they're taking advantage of that.
There's a look at Darren Tilley. Of course, played with the Toronto Lynx in their very first season, was traded to Montreal, and was the star of Montreal Impact before going to Rochester. Released May 28th of this year. On May 29th, he was in Montreal and is now playing for the Impact once again.
And in '98, he was the leading scorer.
And you'll see quite a bit of this. Valerio just loves to be dramatic on the sidelines. And there's a look at Nevio Pizzolito. He is one of the steadiest defenders in Canada.
I've seen Nevio play so many times, and he's another player that I think is just great on the ball, doesn't panic, and as a defender, that's what you want.
Wow, there was a chance for Toronto Lynx. They couldn't capitalize, and Darren Tilley way at the back, doing some good work there, and he pushes it way out front. Darko Kolic can't quite get up to it, and there's your buddy, Milan Kojic, pushing it back to Theo Zagar. Nice steady play by Zagar.
And like I said, I like Kojic. He's nice and composed, but he's playing those long balls in, and they're surprising me. I'm not used to seeing Kojic playing the long balls in.
Arango couldn't quite handle that one, and again, that had something to do with the slippery surface of Varsity Stadium. There's a look at Milan Kojic. He is a hard tackler. Good in the air. He's 6'2" and only 23 years old. He's played all around the world and has settled very nicely here in Toronto. There's a tough play that pushes the ball wide left, and it's Nicky Vinovich. Hasn't done much so far. Tries to get to DeSantis, can't quite control it, so he pushes it out right. Lyndon Hooper keeps it on the ground. DeSantis tackled, no call.
Montreal defending so well there. If you watch, they always have 2 or 3 men around the ball. Whenever Toronto has the ball, there's going to be 2 or 3 Montreal players there, and they're doing a great job.
Beautiful play here. An unfortunate pass there for Darren Tilley. It was a nice little play by Mauro Biello to push the ball wide left. It was pushed in. Darren Tilley couldn't quite get Darko Kolic. It's going to take Darren probably a few games to get back into the rhythm of playing with his former teammates, I'm sure.
He's not doing a bad job so far, though. Looks like one of their better players in this game.
Nice little move there, and the cross comes in.
That's a great cross.
That was a nice battle between Marco Retta and Darren Tilley.
That's going to be a great battle there, Scott.
Absolutely. 2 tall guys that know how to win the ball in the air and keep the ball on the ground when they get it on their feet. Montreal winning that battle. And a crack from way out and a fantastic save by Theo Zagar.
Another great save by Zagar. He's just playing phenomenal.
Let's take another look. Darko Kolic with the crack. Oh, that was heading very close to the top corner. Not sure if that would have actually hit the bar or not, but very safe play by Theo Zagar.
Great attempt.
Different angle.
It's a great strike.
Lovely strike. Oh boy, it's a good thing that he was there.
He got all ball on that one.
Montreal corner now.
Toronto looking a little rattled so far in this game, Scott.
Montreal knows how to play Toronto very well. The bitter rivalry ever since Toronto has been in the league for 4 years. Every game has been scratching and winning and lots of hard tackles, very, very close in every score. And once again, it's the corner for Montreal. Short corner. Biello. Zagar with a nice move there.
Zagar looking a little bit more steady now.
After those 2 incredible saves in the last 15 minutes.
Unbelievable. I don't know if I'd call that. Looks like he got the ball, but doesn't seem to be any hard feelings there, so.
Lloyd Barker with the tackle on Pizzolito. Darren Tilley, there's that battle we've been talking about. Tilley and Marco Retta. Darren will do a lot of talking.
Not happy with that call, Darren Tilley.
This A-League 2000 broadcast is brought to you commercial-free by Umbro. Only soccer since 1924. Adrien Sarrou gets a head on it, but it's well cleared by Montreal. That wasn't for a very well cleared ball, but Zagar's there. Now let's check out what's happening with Ray with a very special guest.
Scott, the Lynx made some changes, but it came in the offseason. An ownership place to place. Bruno and Nicole Hartshell as sole owners. Bruno, you made the change, but the club is still performing very well.
We did, and I think that has more to do with our coach, Peter Pinizzotto, who assumed the general manager role from June 1st, and I think he's done a great job, and that's why we've got a very competitive, undefeated team right now, even though Montreal looks like they're going to give us a real run tonight.
Thanks, Bruno. Scott?
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Bruno. Doing a fine job with the Toronto Lynx, both Bruno and Nicole Hartshell.
And he's right. It looks like Montreal's giving them a run for their money tonight.
Darren Tilley doing some nice work there.
Oh, that was a nice ball, but just offside.
Kolic called offside. Nice ball by Darren Tilley, though.
Darren Tilley really reads the game well. He knows where his players are before he gets the ball. And you know, when he gets the ball, he's putting it through on his first or second touch, and you know what? He just knows exactly what he's doing out there. Thinking 2 steps ahead.
There's Zerton, who captained the Santa Clara University team. Tilly. Bad first touch. There's a foul on Biello. Mauro Biello, the Canadian national, has played several times for the Canadian national team, including down in Trinidad and Tobago. Recently in January, we saw him there. And here's the tackle on Retta. Tried for the ball, but unfortunately got a cleat on the lower part of the ankle, so resulting in that free kick. But Zerton scoops it up, and away we go.
Nice little touch by Darren Tilly there.
Some nice defense there. Nikolai Vinovich out to Brian Ashton. Ashton with the long ball right. That doesn't find the forward.
I'm surprised at, and I'm saying it again, how many long balls the Lynx are playing today.
These matches are always very tight between Toronto and Montreal. Certainly Canadian bragging rights at stake tonight. And Montreal does not like to see Toronto up at top, especially with that 0 in the loss column. They want to make it a 1.
Yeah, Montreal would love to be the team to stop this winning streak, wouldn't they, Scott?
Absolutely. Zerton also played for the Staten Island Vipers in the A-League, so he's been around. He's a veteran. Biello with a chest down. He is, like I said, he is the playmaker of the midfield for the Montreal Impact and has been for years.
He's really good at holding the ball off, keeping the ball in possession, and just playing simple soccer.
Last year, of course, he played for the Rochester Raging Rhinos and was their #1 goal scorer. Arango held up there. Free kick. Toronto take it quickly. Corner kick for Toronto.
Fans, let's have a big hand for lucky fan Peter Stevens, our first winner tonight.
There's a look at Adrian Francis.
Courtesy of Via Rail and the Toronto Sun. Peter and Ignis will travel via rail to watch the Lynx take on the Impact.
Corner kick in.
Oh.
Not a bad corner kick at all.
Not a bad corner kick at all.
And it's Milan Kojic, the 6'2" Hamilton native, with a nice header. Let's take a look again from a different angle. Swings it in, Helen.
That's the way you want the ball to swing when you're taking a corner from that side. You want it swinging out. It's so much easier to head a ball that's swinging outwards rather than towards the goalie.
This is the second season for the Milan Kojic with the Lynx. He's played Canadian under-17 as well as the under-20 national team. So he's played international games as a youth, and he's very solid in the back, as you say. Marco Retta with that classic nonchalant play of his, but another long ball. Final 2 minutes of the half. 0-0 here at Varsity Stadium. Toronto Lynx in white taking on the Montreal Impact in black. Toronto trying to do something before the end of the first half. Lloyd Barker gets Toronto a free kick, and I think we all know who's going to be the free kick specialist here, Nicky Vinovich. There's a look at Nevio Pizzolito. Here's a look at the foul. Wow, he did take a little shot there, didn't he? Pizzolito's played in every level for the Canadian national team. Under 15, under 17, under 20.
He's a great player.
Olympic team, and he's also played in several senior caps as well for Hober Osiak and the Canadian national team. Here we go for the free kick.
Oh, and
Beautiful flick on it, it's a goal! A beautiful, beautiful set play by the Toronto Lynx, and look who it is. A fantastic flick on by Francisco DeSantis. Sheridan had no chance on that one.
looked like a set play. Very, very well played by Vinovich. And Dos Santos in the right spot.
Let's take a look at this again, Helen.
What a great little ball.
The classic flick-on header into the back of the net from a different angle. Nice touch. Beautiful touch, both players.
Now, I'm surprised the keeper was out that far.
He really committed himself, and that was the problem with
He
that one.
committed himself, and really for no reason. The ball wasn't coming into his area. But Toronto now up 1-0.
Free kick for Toronto. First goal, 43rd minute for Francisco Dos Santos. Limniadis.
Toronto Lynx goal, his 4th of the year, scored by number 27, Francisco.
And there's the end of the half. The Toronto Lynx went up 1-0 at the half, thanks in part to Francisco Dos Santos. We'll be back right after this.